The Horror Eternal presents Blood Plains Reaping, Chapter 3, Fever Fiend, Part 1. The snow whips up into cascading drifts against the frozen countenance of the tree line, undisturbed except for the boot prints in my wake. Determined cold steals in under the collar, into the teeth, the eyes, biting at the ears, trying to burrow right through the flesh itself. I came this way, tracking something I caught moving through the dark just beyond the firelight border of our camp. A shape, low and quick, moving wrong against the wind-blown powder. The trees collude in the darkness ahead, black against a starless sky. No wind, no sound, which is its own kind of sound. The silence confronting you with the weight of your own being. Something's out here, something terrible, an omen. I don't know how I know that, just a feeling that refuses to let go. I move headlong toward the woodland abyss, slow, cautious, machete low and ready, the gusts and flurries erasing all evidence of my presence on the land. Tense breath escapes my chest in pale vapors that scatter in the bitter breeze. A rustling shatters the tension to my left. Every nerve snaps to, every muscle locked, blade up, eyes narrow. Then a rabbit breaks from a bush, kicks up a spray of powder, and bolts off into the dark. Rabbit, just a rabbit. I feel a quiver in my blade. Check my grip. Slight tremor. Nerves. A fear coiled up in my guts like a snake rattling through me. Whistling bands of snow paint a taunting smile across the suffering abyss ahead. Something waiting for me there. Some kind of unnameable dread calling me after these many years. Transcendental and circumspect. A black hangman harboring a judgment I refuse to face. I lower the blade. Steady my grip. Force a breath. Then, from behind, close, a voice, soft, accusatory. "You never came for me." I spin to find a small figure staring back from the frozen tundra, a memory, an unpaid debt with wide, judging eyes. He's exactly as I left him, 8 years old, blanket dragging in the snow, eyes hollow, skin pale and streaked with the telltale strokes of viral decay just below the surface. "Billy," I say, the name barely breaking free from my lips. "Why did you lie to me, Gus?" he asks. I can't move, can't speak. He takes a step toward me, eyes welling up. "You should have come for me. I was so afraid." "Billy, I start, but words abandon me. His tired voice rises to a blaming screech. "I was so afraid!" His hands raise up to his cheeks. Ossified tendrils burst through the tips of his small 8-year-old fingers, growing into jagged claws. They sink into his cheeks and begin to rip and tear at his face. Skin comes away in strips. Blood stains the virgin snow at his feet. "Why, Gus? Why did you lie?" "Billy, no," I plead. Exposed muscle and tendon stare back from a bloody pulp. I'm paralyzed by fear, unable to grab his hands, make him stop. "Liar! You're a liar!" My eyes snap open, momentary disorientation. Then my world falls back into place. The city, the reaping, the night. No snow, no Billy, just the familiar heat and despair. The campfires burned down to orange coals. I'm soaked through, shirt stuck to my back, hair plastered to my forehead, breathing like I just ran a mile. Above me, the sky is doing its pre-dawn dance, trading black for bruised purple at the edges. Oscar's slumped against a half-collapsed brick wall a few feet away, machete across his lap, embraced in the kind of sleep that comes after a day spent eluding runners and vendettas. I press a hand to my chest, feel my heart rattling its cage, lower my head, let it pass. "Billy," just under my breath, barely even a sound. Then a snap, a twig shifting rubble in the street, close, just outside the firelight. My nerves lock in and I'm on my feet, blade out, weight forward. "Who's there?" No answer. I scan the dark, partially collapsed walls, their debris smothering the street, the silhouettes of dead cars, a street lamp on its side. Then I see it, a small human shape, silent, still. My stomach drops straight through the ground below my feet. I call out, "What's your business?" The shape steps forward and the flickering light reveals a girl, 18, maybe, hard around the eyes the way this world makes them. Short hair tucked under a hood, sheer black tactical bodysuit, a pack on her back. Her hands stay loose and visible, raised to show no weapons. Her delicate voice cuts the air. "You Reapers?" I keep the blade up. "Who wants to know?" "Name's Asha, fellow Reaper." Her voice is steady, but I detect something underneath, stretching thin as a wire. "My partner's injured about half a mile up the road. I'm looking for help." Behind me, Oscar comes to in his familiar way, all at once and mid-sentence. "A girl! It's always a girl right when I..." Dirt-crusted hands rub his eyes. "Yo, Gus, am I still dreaming or is there a girl in camp?" I ignore him, focused on the intruder. "What kind of injury?" Asha hesitates. "I'm not sure exactly. Shoulder's busted, but there's something more." I study her expression, read the body language. The fire's mostly char, light, unkind. But what flickers before me sticks a feeling in my bones. She's just a kid, in over her head. Same as every other kid this world chews up and hands back different. I let my blade come down to my side. "What happened?" "We found a mansion up in the hills. Old place, mostly intact. Huge fucking hall inside. Diamonds, jewels, more than I've ever seen in any one place. No one living there but some old woman. Looked like easy work." She swallows. 5 of us. I took the roof, recon, eyes on the target, covering the team going in. I lost sight of the old woman. Then I lost sight of my team. Then the screaming started. She stops. I wait. She doesn't pick it back up right away, and when she does, her voice has gone hollow. After that, it's hard to remember. All I know is 4 went in, 1 came out. Hurt, but alive. I trade looks with Oscar. He throws a casual shrug, but I catch the eager glint in his eye at the prospect of the hall. "How far?" I ask. 2.5 miles maybe, up that way." "A Reaper in need is a friend indeed," I always say. "Lead the way." We find Asha's partner at the top of a winding road, sandbags thrown up along the rim of a ditch just outside the property. Behind the fortification, a woman in her early 40s, her rugged face steep with contours that would be considered beauty in another life. Cropped black hair, half-shaved on one side, flak jacket over bandages that have bled through in 2 places, leg and shoulder. Her rifle rests across the sandbags, tracking us all the way in, eyes sharp, ready, nothing in that 1,000-yard stare that remotely resembles welcome. "You brought Reapers?" Her voice, unwavering, cold and steely. "Kid, never trust a Reaper. How many times I gotta tell you?" "But we're Reapers," Asha says. "Exactly." I crouch down, keep my hands visible, voice even. "We've got a wagon and horses back down the road. We can get you to the fort, get that looked at." Asha kneels beside her. Dev's eyes don't leave us as Asha speaks. "They're here to help, Dev." "Here to help themselves, Ash," she says. "How long after you get us out of here before you move in on our score, Reaps?" Oscar bristles. "Yo, what's with the shade, Chica? You came to us. We could have hit this whole setup already if that's what we wanted." "It's true," I say. "If that was our intention, you'd have never seen us coming." Asha places a hand on Dev's good shoulder. "Forget this place, Dev. Maya, Trace, whole team's gone. Something's not right here. Let's just get you safe." Dev continues to hold our gaze firmly, then shifts side-eyed to her partner. I see the history in that look. Dev reaches up, puts her hand against Asha's cheek, gentle in a way that doesn't match anything else about her. Her focus slips back to us. "Okay, Reaps, I'll go halves with you." Asha's whole body goes tight. "Dev, no! I'm not leaving here," Dev says, eyes never resting the handshake of our gaze. "Not until I get that freaky old bitch for what she did to my crew." I look at Asha, note the blood soaking through Dev's jacket. I think about saying no. We're 3 days from the nearest fort, and this isn't our fight. I've got my own ghost to outrun without stepping into somebody else's haunted house. But the Reap gets the better of me. "Sounds like a deal. In theory," I say. "But how do we avoid a repeat of what happened to your crew?" Dev pushes herself up from the foxhole and leads us to the ridge overlooking the target in question. The mansion sits on an overgrown plot of land overlooking the LA basin, big enough that a family could go a lifetime between its walls without ever running into each other. The marble facing crumbles off in sheets, the walls reclaimed by vines and epiphytic overgrowth. Glass gone from every window, exposing hollow, dark spaces beyond their borders. Ash and dust dance across the grounds in the morning breeze, settling and smothering every contour. On a balcony near the top, impossibly, absurdly Thirdly, a full-grown garden. Flowers in colors I've never seen, blooming in neat, carefully tended rows. There's an old woman there, small, frail, a mane of white hair so thick and so white it seems to throw off its own light. Large, ornate watering can and brittle hands. She meticulously nurtures the robust growth. "What happened, Dev says. 'Cause we tried to spare the old lady. Didn't know what she was." We draw back from the overlook, down into a clearing where we can speak without the wind carrying our voices. "This time," Dev says, "we go for her head. The jewels are just the icing on the cake." The plan comes together fast. Asha takes the roof again, eyes on the target, provide rifle cover, headset comms between the four of us. Dev will go in through the west side, past the library, hunt the old woman directly. Oscar takes the conservatory at the rear of the building, south, work forward through the bedrooms. I take the garage, east side, come up through the foyer. We meet in the middle, one last reconnaissance before we break. The old lady lilting from side to side, lost in a euphoric dance, unusual dexterity for such a brittle frame. Dev enters a dark hallway, low through a rotted window frame, rifle up, economical, quiet, professional, even with 2 bullet wounds slowing her down. As her feet set down on the floor, sweat breaks and runs down into her eyes. She doesn't wipe, just blinks through it, keeps moving. "Coming in through the west side," she speaks low into the headset. "No sign of her yet." She pies the corner of the library entrance, enters the room, scanning through her rifle sight. Books line the walls, coated in dust and cobwebs, shielding their knowledge against the decay. All clear, she sweeps back out to the murky corridor, tracking deeper into the festering tomb. "Show yourself," she mutters, "you old bag of bones." Muscles tense, temples flush, heat burrowing up from inside, the sweat flowing as she approaches a T-junction at the end of the hall. Piercing shafts of light strafe the intersection through the perforated roof. "I've got eyes on you," Asha's voice, then through the headset. "You're clear ahead." Saddling up to the corner of the interchange, Dev tracks the beam into a recess in the facing wall, its presence not visible from a distance, a suffocating passage with an appetite for the light. She spots an obscured shift inside, draws up the sight, a glint, a dull flash, a mane of white hair moving slowly inside. She drops to one knee, lines up the shot. "I see you, bitch," under her breath. 3 rounds, fast, a white trail whips and drops to the floor. "Dev?" Anxious breaths in Dev's ear. "Got her," she confirms, holding steady. "Copy that." A sigh of relief, buoyant in Asha's tone. "No fuss, no muss." Asha drops her aim slightly, tension easing. "Fuck that old bitch." Her left eye stings shut, sweat stabbing down from her brow. Dev crosses through the fractured face and into the shrouded passage, eyes locked on the fallen mane ahead. "Dev," Asha's voice through the headset, urgency creeping back in. "You're out of sight. I can't cover you in there." "No worries, baby," Dev soothes. "Just gonna finish her off." She advances cautiously toward the crumpled mass ahead in the pallid gloom, eyes narrow, detecting movement, slow, barely discernible. "Where you going, old lady?" A satisfied smile lights her face against the void. "I'm gonna break what's left of you with my bare fucking hands." A sudden, sharp click echoes from the chasm ahead. Dev snaps the scope back to her eye, finds a thin line of light deflowering the blackness. An opening just enough to catch the struggling husk, white hair giving her away, slip through. "Bitch got tricks," Dev says to herself. Oscar climbs through a naked frame into the conservatory at the rear of the house. Rows of dead plants gone to dust in their beds, the smell of old earth and rot. Notes the striking contrast to the lush balcony garden they'd spied earlier. He stalks forward, vigilant, machete leading, gaining on a shattered doorframe that reluctantly surrenders passage to the interior of the home beyond. He darts across a generous hallway toward a set of grandly ornate double doors, saddles up and leans in to survey the gap between them. A heated pulse throbs at his temple, moisture accumulating under his cap. Split-second distraction. What greets him on the other side strips the gravity from his gait. A luxurious boudoir, handcrafted floor to ceiling in gold, arrogant in its opulence, flush with riches, frozen in time, untouched by the crude evidence of its passing. Proudly sparkling statues, coins, jewels, diamonds, and pearls flaunt their excess. A pirate's haul. No mames. Oscar exhales and slips across its border. He moves through the chamber, scooping handfuls of gold coins, raising them up and letting them fall, delighting in the symphony of their chimes. He runs his hands over the opulent contours of handcrafted statues, vases, and porcelain china, catches his own reflection in a tall, gilded mirror, checks himself out, shifts his hat, brushes his hair to one side. Then he catches something in the reflection, movement at his back. He spins, machete up, feet squared. The curtains billow, no wind, just a ghost-like sway. His eyes fall on a figure just behind them, features curved, soft in the darkness. A woman steps forward to meet the light. Long golden hair down to her waist, a dress that clings to every fine angle like water. His stance relaxes, shoulders slip. Mamacita, she smiles. The bright white of her teeth rouse Oscar's attention. Delicate arms raise, gesturing at the extravagance surrounding them. Do you like what you see, traveler? She asks, her inviting tone a calming melody on light air. Like I do, but I must say, you are the finest jewel in this entire cachet, he responds. She steps closer. He marks her, machete still up. She moves her sleek form right up to the blade. Oscar lowers it, letting her pass. She slides along its breadth into his embrace. I've been alone, she says, for so long. If you have enjoyed this program, please like, review, and share. Spread the word. The Horror Eternal presents Blood Plains Reaping. Written, produced, and performed by Roy Burdine. The Horror Eternal and Blood Plains Reaping are copyright 2026 Roy Burdine. This has been a Spiral Opus audio production. Also from Spiral Opus, don't miss Mindraker, Background Anger. The story of a psychic assassin on a mission from God. Season 1 available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere you get your podcasts.
Monster Forge. We make monsters.